Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Beat the Bell, presented by Kane Capital. Happy Monday. Ready for another trading week to get underway. Last week, after lots of chop, after lots of slow action, we are ready to finally find some movement, hopefully, in the markets this week. Today, guys, I'm in a phenomenal mood. We get to watch the United States of America take the pitch for the first time in 8 years in a World Cup game. So that's a great way to start the week. If you look here, we have Fed forecast coming up for you guys. Coach's Corner. I'm going to talk about the system. We're going to talk about some unusual flow that Mo was able to find over the weekend that's powered by unusual whales. And then we're going to wrap up the show with today's top watches. So stick around to see what our head traders are looking at going into today. Now, let's introduce the panel, starting with Coach Dipka. Coach, good morning.
Morning, guys. Excited to be here. Let's have a great week.
Excited to have you. Money Mander.
Happy Monday. I know you and I especially are ready to get some vengeance this week, so let's get after it.
Absolutely. We got a little something to prove after a tough week last week. Okay. Diamond.
Alejandro, what's going on? A bit of a shortened week this week, so let's get after it and take what we can get.
That's true. We do have Thanksgiving, so we do have a shortened week. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Snipes, what's going on?
Good morning, guys. We do have less days to trade this week, but that does not mean we have less bags to eat this week.
I love that. All right, Ramsey.
Morning, guys. Good morning, team. Go USA. Happy Thanksgiving. Let's have a good one.
And Mo.
Good morning, guys. Hey, couldn't be more excited. World Cup started, one of the best times of the year. It comes around every 4 years. And I see you're really excited, Honda. Hopefully USA doesn't ruin your week on a Monday.
All right, brother. I don't know what the hate is all about. Positive energy only. Mo, you're live from Texas right now, so I don't know what the anti-US soccer thing is all about. I guess for those of you that are just now tuning in before we went live, Mo was talking a little bit of shit. So, all right. Now we're going to move into Fed forecast, guys, with Money Mander and Noah. What is on the economic calendar this week? What are you guys taking a look at?
Yeah, so the economic calendar this week is going to be pretty light, Ryan, if you could throw that up for us. We've really only got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday, the market's obviously going to be closed for Thanksgiving. And then Friday, we've got a half day. Today, we've got the National Activity Index, which actually just came out at 8:30. Tomorrow, we've got a Fed speaker in the middle of the day. And then Wednesday is really going to be the key for the week in terms of economic data. We have durable goods and new home sales coming out early in the day. And then the FOMC minutes release, which comes out at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. And so in the last meeting, Powell hinted at decreasing the size of the rate hike as early as December. And then that was before that light CPI came in for October. So we'll have to see if there's anything in the minutes release that sort of confirms that idea that they're looking to decrease that size. On the earnings front, again, a fairly slow week. I would say the most important that I'm seeing is Dick's, Dollar Tree, and Best Buy, right? We've been paying a lot of attention to these retail names as they've been reporting, and some of them have been honestly really strong, some of the retail names. And so it's going to be interesting to see if Dollar Tree, Dick's, and Best Buy can keep up that trend. And the last thing that we've got for this week, obviously, is going to be Black Friday on Friday after Thanksgiving, generally one of the largest spending days, right, in America. And so we're heading into Black Friday kind of under this dark cloud cover, right, of the Target earnings last week. They had disappointing earnings and actually revised down for Q4, but it's not all bad news heading into Black Friday. MasterCard actually had several hot takes coming into Friday, with the first being that they're projecting a 15% year-over-year increase in Black Friday sales on increased foot traffic with the less restrictive COVID protocols that we've got in place this year compared to last year. MasterCard says that department stores in particular should be, a really bright spot this Black Friday, projecting a 25% year-over-year increase in Black Friday sales in department stores. And their last hot take was 35% year-over-year projected increase in restaurant sales this weekend. Again, sort of relating back to those COVID protocols that have sort of changed in the last year. And then we've also got the fact that they had a surprise beat on the retail sales report for October. So a couple of bright spots there that MasterCard says to watch out for coming into, really one of the biggest weekends for retail in the United States.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Definitely some numbers I was not expecting. And Ryan, if you could pull up this credit card to savings chart for me. Thank you. So this really surprised me, but this is basically what we're seeing, right? We're kind of getting this narrative of a quote unquote like strong US consumer right now. There was your chart here. But really, this is what you can see. This isn't a strong consumer. This is really just a consumer overspending on leisure currently, while credit card debt is at an all-time high and savings ratio compared to your disposable income is at an all-time low. So really what we're seeing is that while, disposable income is coming down because your expenses are going up, right? Your utilities, your food, your expenses, your travel expenses, those necessities are really going up. So your disposable income is coming down. You would think that if you were saving the same amount of X dollars per month, your savings in a ratio to disposable income would have gone up. But we're really seeing it at all-time lows, basically. It's at 3% in savings to disposable income ratio. So really what we're seeing is this quote unquote strong US consumer is basically just overspending on these leisure activities that everyone got accustomed to in 2020, 2021, when money was really just fun coupons. Like people really got exposed to these leisure activities, buying what they wanted, spending what they wanted, not worrying about it. We're still kind of seeing that in the same regard, but now it's all getting put on credit card debt and on people not saving anything, basically spending all of their income. And so while I guess you could say this is a strong economy as people are still spending, how long can this last is what I wanted to pose to Noah. How long can this really last until people really get pressed here and are starting to get to that point where they can't even afford their food expenses, they can't even afford travel expenses because they continue overspending?
Right. I think that's really where, you have to look towards that future path of inflation. And so we've seen inflation really start to come down, right, in the past several months. We're tracking in the right direction. What happens to that disposable income savings ratio if groceries go up by another 50%, right? Just anecdotally in my own household, when we have to pay more for groceries, that leaves less money for other things, right? And so grocery prices are already inflated. Inflation's already hitting us in several different areas. If we see another leg higher in inflation, what happens to that savings ratio, which is already down at 3% from the peak? So, yeah, I completely agree. I think that one of these things is going to have to give here coming into 2023, and I guess we'll just have to pay attention.
Yeah, and I think while, short term, this might be seen as bullish, like if Black Friday sales come out and beat for retail and restaurants and department stores, that'll be a short term bullish thing where people are probably going to be jumping to buy up your Amazons, your TJX, your Kohl's, Macy's. People are going to want those names. But in the long run, this is really just going to hint at a more hawkish Fed as they clearly just cannot seem to slash the demand side of this inflation. They can't touch supply. And clearly with interest rate hikes all year, demand side hasn't even been phased. They're still setting, up 25% year over year on Black Friday sales projected is crazy. And so I just think it's funny that inflation now at whatever it is, 7.9 is seen as a great thing, but it was the exact same it was back in February. And it was like, all hell broke loose. So everyone's thinking, this is on the come down of peak. It's still not good.
Agreed. That's going to wrap it up for us here. We'll send it back to Alejandro.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's go over to Coach Dipka for Coach's Corner.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning. We got a good one for you today. So the question of the day that everyone wants to know as we roll into Thanksgiving, we roll into holiday season, right? Are we going to have Santa magic or will tax selling wreak havoc? That is a question of the day. We're going to bring in the best of the best, as always. That's all I want to take on, the best of the best. So we got the perma bear himself, self-proclaimed macro expert, Money Mander, the ultimate pessimist. All right, so we want to know, Santa magic or will tax selling wreak havoc? What do you got, Money Mander? We'll start with you.
Ryan, do me a favor here for this goof. I feel like we've talked about this 10 times now. Could you pull up the chart I sent you here on seasonality historically in a bear market versus a bull market? Fantastic. Thank you. So this seasonality thing of this Santa rally, you can clearly see the red line there is your down years. The green year is your up years. And so if you look at the average on the black line, historically you have the seasonality on an average because typically you have more years in a bull market than a bear market. However, put your eyes on the red chart there in a down year. This is exactly what we saw this year. You see your rally in October and November, which is exactly what we saw. And then you historically see selling into the end of year, because exactly what I was saying, people are going to get out of names that they bag held so that they can use that as a tax write-off for capital losses. And so thank you, Blake, for this chart. It's really helping me here drive my point home to Perma Bull here, Dipka. This isn't the same as a typical up year where people aren't selling, because then you have to pay taxes in 2022 if you sell a name you're up on this year. But in a down year, people are going to use that for realized losses to write against anything they might be up. Say you were I don't know if you were short names this year, right? So you have capital gains on that. You're going to write off anything you were long on for a loss against that.
Money Mander, all I got to say to you is get ready, buckle up, get ready to get absolutely squeezed. So let's be clear about something. The Santa Rally is considered the final 5 trading days of December and the first 2 of January, right? This is what we've seen year over year. We've seen an average return of 1.33% in that 7 trading day span. So I'm going to focus in on that 7-day span. Sure, yeah, you might have some selling early December, but I'm focusing on the 7-day span here. 78% of the time we have traded higher in this span, and we're currently on a 6-year win streak. The winning will continue. The seasonality trade will continue. And let's recap on this year so far. What have we seen? I've talked about this before on the show. Sell in May, go away. We saw it, right? Rally in July. We saw it. Sell in September, the worst historical month for the S&P year over year. We saw it. October, known for 2 things. The bear market killer, right? That second midterm year of a president's term. And we also, it's known for historically having crashes. We saw, I wouldn't call it the crash, but we saw that big drawdown, right? And we also saw it then killed on the very same day. So the seasonality trade is still intact this year, and I'm going to take the Santa Rally, Santa Magic, absolute ripper to squeeze Money Mander and leave him as the ultimate bag holder into 2023. That's going to do it for Coach's Corner. Mander, a pleasure as always debating you.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
What's up?
That is absolutely ridiculous.
And yeah, well, I gotta ask, what happened to the optimist, the Perma Bull, the Santa Rally King, Money Mander, the Lizard? What happened to this guy with Powell Pump, right, and the Lizard, all for the Santa Rally last year? I'm just curious.
He was all over, but he's a realist. We're in 2 different markets here.
Okay. It is interesting to recap where we were a year ago and where we're at. A year later, almost down, 100 points.
You have fun with that up 1.3% in Christmas. We're down 0.5% here going into the session. Like what is plus 1%?
I'm with Coach here. Squeeze them.
We're in the sell signal, dude. What do you mean?
Nah. Well, now that you mention it, this is a perfect transition. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, guys, and let's talk about the system. All right. First thing, I put out a new YouTube video last night. I rarely make them, maybe once a month. So check it out. It's on the King Capital YouTube. Lots of high quality information in there. Making some adjustments as of late to my trading. So to watch the video so that you can stay up to date. But let's talk about what we're looking at on the system headed into today, headed into this week. So as Money Mander just mentioned last Thursday, we got the sell signal, which was the bearish cross of the 10 SMA below the 50 SMA on the 30-minute SPX chart. Then for the rest of the week, we saw some chop. Obviously, we had OPEX on Friday, some difficult price action to trade. We saw the 50 SMA serve as resistance one time in the session. Then at the close, we got that strong squeeze in the last 10, 15 minutes of trading, and we ended up closing above the 50 SMA. So now, what are we going to watch for headed into today? Right now, the futures are down 15 points, so relatively flat, down 0.36% in the indices. So early, we're going to want to watch how we behave around the 50 SMA on the 30-minute SPX chart. If we can trade above it, what can likely take place is a buy signal, which would be the cross of the 10 SMA over the 50 SMA. Now, we don't go long on the buy signal alone. We want to make sure that the 50 SMA is holding. We want to chart our key levels of support on the chart, and we want to make sure that we can establish multiple layers of conviction before going long. But in general, what I'm watching for is a potential buy signal holding above the 50 SMA. Now let's take a look at the hourly chart, and this is why I can confirm that I will have a long bias if we do get that buy signal. So last week, we saw this 50 SMA in a very, very steep uptrend. And despite breaks below that 50 SMA on the 1-hour SPX chart, the dips were eaten up and the 50 SMA served as a magnet. So this is our visual representation of momentum and trend in the market. If we continue to trade higher today, we're going to be above that 50 SMA. We want to see the 10 SMA come up as well and start trailing after that price. And once the two charts are telling the same story, both in buy signal, that is going to be when I want to go long. Okay, guys? So that's what I'm looking at headed to this week. Now let's go over to Mo, and we're going to talk flow. As we mentioned earlier on in the show, he found some important stuff over the weekend.
All right, guys, welcome to Unusual Wells Flow here. So we don't go by, before we get started here, I never go by purely the flow. You always do have to analyze your chart, right? But scanning last night on the flow, I saw some huge call flow come in on COST, Costco. Some of you guys don't know. You guys see some 60K, 50K, 95K, but the one that really caught my eyes is 546K. On the ask side, 465 calls for weeklies, right? For this week's expiration. Caught my eye. Let's go into the chart real quick. So we note the flow, we jump into the chart. Nice daily time frame pennant here. Nice daily time frame pennant. Now, what price action is telling me here is I would play a short, right? Initially, after when we got up a few candles before this one, right? Before the current candle, we had a nice rejection on the top of that trend line, right? I would play a short there. I'm just looking at this chart. I will not take shorts here, especially with the flow telling me upside is coming. Now, how would I play this? Is if we break and hold this trend line, Costco can be a ripper. So the patience, it will take patience here. Wait for this price action to come up above this trend line, break the trend line, and close on the daily. Not wick and come back down within trend. Close on the daily. That'll give me some further conviction to add to swing calls on this name, right? So the flow is further conviction on my chart analysis on COST. Line those trend lines up, keep that on watch, and we'll take it from there. The next one I have is LVS. So LVS gave it some further out expiration, 12/16, right? About a month into this. Two flows caught my eye. You have some nice flow, 20, 21, 22, but the two big flows that caught my eye is 309 and 265. Reason why I pick these names is based off of their chart. If they have a nice setup, I'm gonna pay more attention to these flow that are coming in on the ask side, right? So a 38 call and 43 call for 12/16 expiration, 309 and 265. If you could pull that chart up on LVS. So on LVS daily time frame here, it has a nice range. It formed this nice range that it's looking to break out of either direction, right? This doesn't mean we can't play it to the downside, right? Just follow what the chart is telling you, what this price action is telling you. So this is the daily time frame. You guys can see 43 to 45, nice daily time frame range going on here, especially that 45 level. I think that's huge. If you look back in February of this year, you can see the price action develop below that trend line and above the trend line. And then all the way to the left, that's September of last year. So you can see how well respected this 45 level is. And if we get that break and hold to the upside, you bet your ass I'm swinging calls on this name, especially with that flow for next month, for mid-month, mid-December, that is. So just wait for the price action. Again, patience, patience, patience. Analyze your chart. Let it come to you. Once you get that candle close above 45, I am swinging calls on this. And if it does close below 43 on the daily, it's invalidated for me for the time being. That'll be it. Thank you, Hondo.
Thank you, Mo. Now let's go over to Coach Dipko. We're going to give him 60 seconds to give us his certified levels headed into today.
Yeah, thank you, Alejandro. Thank you very much. All right, guys, time to wake up. I know you've been listening to Dwayne. He's been putting you to sleep. We're going to pull up the chart here for the SPY, and we're going to go through today's daily levels in 60 seconds. All right, Ryan, would you mind pulling up that chart for us on SPY? All right, let's get right into it, okay? So we're going to start with where we're opening around. We're opening around 394, 395, right? So we're going to have to look at some major support below. What is our major support below? It's pretty clear and obvious, guys. We've been in this range, this $10 range, which really sucks. We got to get out of it. All right, 389.92. Okay, so you're rolling out of bed. You got no levels on your chart. I got 6 here for you, 389.92 and 389.52. That is going to be my big support. You could also say that 390 to 390.25 psych. I like it. I like it a lot. 390.25, I'll take my starters down to 389.52. We get under 389.52, I'm out. All right, I'll take the loss, small, 75-cent loss there on SPY. Target would be 392 to 394. Pivot levels today, So those levels you could play kind of to both sides. Break hook can go either way. 395 and 394.4. Big levels. Look at your chart from Friday. You'll see them there. I mean, you see them right on my chart here. Look at open. We held 394.40 on Friday really well. Now we got to look overhead. So what's overhead? Guys, one level, 400. 400 is the level. Okay, 398.48 is decent as well, but 400 is the level we got to focus on. We break and hold 400. We'll make a push to that overhead daily time frame towards 408. We'll talk about that in the Discord on Live Voice if we do reclaim, but that is ultimately the levels for today. Thank you, guys. 60 seconds, didn't go over by any seconds, so that's great to see. And now we're going to pass it back to Alejandro here to put you back to bed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach. Now, bet the bell with Ramsey.
All right, guys, the time has come. You know what time it is. Bet the bell, where I'm going to ask our panel of traders a variety of market-related questions. They're going to give me their answer, and at the end of the week, we'll tally up the records, see who has the best answer, and see who sucks and might get kicked off the show. So, with that being said, first question of the day, SPY. Do we close over or under 400 by the end of the week? Mo, let's start with you.
Under or over 400 by the end of the week? I'm calling under, man. Pretty confident in that one.
Pretty confident.
Under.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hondo?
I'm going over. I'm seeing a lot of people start to get short. A lot of people bear market rally this, bear market rally that. Fuck them. Rip it to 405, end of the week.
You heard it from Dwayne. Fuck them. Dipka, what do we got?
Yeah, so, again, going back to the seasonality thing, the week of Thanksgiving is usually pretty bullish, so I'm just going to go with the seasonality trade, and we're going to say over 400. Solid green week, low volume, though, so just be wary of that. But, yeah, over 400 this week, and we'll pass it back to you guys.
Gotcha.
Schlett has it over 410, man. There's no point of asking him that question.
Whoa. I got the daily trend line around 408. I think that is where we come down hard. I think we get there first. See some tax selling, and then boom, Santa rally, right back. Money Manor gets squeezed. He holds some bags into the new year, and I'm sitting beautifully in the green into year end.
Nice. All right, we'll see what happens. Trading 395 right now, slightly red in the pre-market, but we got a lot of time on the week. So this is going to lead us into our next question. Energy has been outperforming tech for the majority of 2022, especially over the last 2 months. Last week, we saw a slight change in trend. We saw tech slightly outperform energy, very slim margin, still both red with respect to their ETFs. So what I want to know is, do you guys think this is the start of a new trend with respect to energy versus tech, or was last week a fluke and energy will continue this 2022 trend of outperforming tech into the end of the year? I want the macro guys in on this one. Mander, start us off.
Dare I say it, I think that tech probably outperforms solely because I think we see a pretty healthy pullback here in energy names into the end of the year.
Diamond.
I was of the same mindset, but energy just continues to bid. Energy just continues to get bid up higher and higher. And so I don't see that stopping. I'm going to go with energy continued outperformance. I think that people will use this bounce in tech as an opportunity to sell.
Gotcha. And Sniper, finish us off. What you think?
I don't know, man. I think that there's a lot of reason to buy energy stocks right now compared towards the tech stocks. So I think we could see a slight change in trend coming up in the future.
All right. Beauty. And that will lead us into our last question of the day, which I'd like everyone to weigh in on. A little open-end discussion among the panel. So As many of you guys know, the FTX scandal, CEO, SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. Every time I even read the name, I just laugh. The guy, have you seen the guy? He just looks like a clown. Oh my God. Secretly shifted around $10 billion into Alameda Research, which ultimately resulted in the destruction of FTX. So what I want to know, guys, does Sam Bankman-Fried serve jail time? What do we got? Let's start from the top. Mander.
I really hope he does. I mean, this is just horrible seeing what happened with that. Bernie Madoff's cell is looking really empty, and he didn't make it to China, Russia, or the UAE for no extradition. So I think they get a hold of him on this one.
Hondi.
So, I'm not a big crypto guy. I don't know too much about the situation. All I do know is that a lot of good people lost a lot of money. They over leveraged, just basically greed got the best of this guy. And I would love to see him serve some time. It's no joke. Losing your own money is one thing. Losing other people's money is a completely different story. So this guy's no good.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Noah.
Yeah, I think he definitely serves time. Madoff got about 10 years or 150 years. I'm sorry, 150 years. So, I mean, this guy gets zero time. It would kind of be a bit outrageous. I just don't see it happening.
Mo?
Does he deserve to serve time? Yeah. Will he serve time? Hell no, man. This guy's involved with politicians and the government and whatnot. It goes deeper than what you think it is. I don't think this guy is going to serve any time, but definitely does deserve to serve time. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I was actually just reading this morning a lot of individual donations to specific parties and people in the previous elections. Guys got some ties. Dipka, what do you think?
Yeah, same reasons as Mo. I'm going to say no. Does he deserve it? Of course, right? But I know plenty of advisors who are losing people money too out there. So, he's not going to serve time, but he should. So.
And Stock Sniper finishes off.
I think that he should serve time, obviously, a lot of time, because he really hurt a lot of people. But again, he knows a lot of people, so I feel like he might find a way out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of us are in agreement with the morality of things, but I think that the better question to ask, and something that we'll cover on Beat the Bell, this will be a question for later this week, is when you got names like Tom Brady, Steph Curry, Kevin O'Leary, the Miami Heat changing their arena to FTX, like how does the crypto market as a whole kind of recover from something like this with the magnitude of those names getting screwed over? How long does it take to gain that trust back? So I think that's a good question. We'll definitely cover that next week. And back to you, Alejandro.
All right. Thank you, Ramsey. All right, guys. Now time for the dreaded market moron. And for today's market moron, I'm going to let Coach take over.
Yeah, guys, listen, I like to think of myself as a really prestigious trader. I think I've had a really great year, but I am coming off back-to-back market morons, 2 market morons for me. So glad to not be in the spotlight today for this one. And I am very, very, very excited to gracefully reward this trader. Dwayne trades with the market moron prize of last week. Now, don't be down on yourself. I know you're always reviewing, recapping your trades. So we want an explanation. What happened out there, right? 3 losses in a row on Friday. Very uncharacteristic of you. It just felt like you were looking for a momentum move in a choppy market. What do you got to say for yourself, Alejandro?
Yeah. So first off, it was 2 losses in a row, not 3, but it was, there were some pretty bad losses throughout the week. I just, nothing was really working for me. Listen, there's going to be times you're trading really well. There's also going to be times where you're trading like an absolute asshat. The important thing is just to manage the drawdown. But to talk about the trading, what went wrong, and why I wasn't able to get some things going. Every time Ryan pops this up, I can't even focus. All right. basically yesterday, or last week rather, was not the time to push the envelope. Okay. I kept trying the same trade. I was trying to go short, thinking that, system and sell signal, hourly breakdown on the 50 SMA. There was no trend in the market. Okay. There was no trend. I was looking for a break of the range. With monthly option expiration, you're just not going to get that. That's something I know, but I forced. And I know everybody at some point is in that situation. It happens. You do things that you shouldn't, but you're still trying to make things happen. I was red on the week. I wanted to have a good Friday, and the market made me pay for it. It's part of the game. So you really just got to wash it, I guess. Remember that you're still a good trader. That's the biggest thing. Just keep your confidence up, and be ready to make the next winning trade. But yeah, it was I'm not in disagreement with you. It was tough. It was definitely tough.
Yeah, it happens. We've all been there. Monthly option expiration just is a killer. I mean, I saw so many people just getting chopped up. Either side, you were just getting smoked. So it's all good. You had a great past couple months and look to bounce back today, right? Just right into the next trade. So that'll do it for Market Moron. And I guess we'll pass it back to you again, Alejandro.
Yep. All right, guys. So last Friday, we did Member of the Week. We made a decision as a team to do Member Spotlight now whenever somebody does well, because we have members in the Discord who are constantly trading well, and to only pick one person once a week, we thought wasn't the right way to do things. So now everybody knows that moving forward, that's how things are going to be done. Friday again. And we talked about him on Friday, but the guy deserves to be rewarded for the way he's trading, guys. It's Paul Dozer. Once again, 10K. I'm sitting here talking about how I had a really shitty day on Friday. I couldn't get anything going. I'm trying to fight the trend. Meanwhile, Paul Dozer's in the chat. He's like, I'm up 5K. I'm up 6K. I'm up 8K. I'm up 10K. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this guy doing? Well, I'll tell you what he's doing, actually, because he started trading using the system. That's why he made $10,000 on Friday. But yeah, I mean, Paul Dozer, dude, keep knocking it out of the park. But yeah, now you guys know we're going to be doing this a little bit more often. But Dozer is on an absolute tear. We love the guy, boot camper. It's really incredible to see the type of growth that he's experienced so far this year. Awesome job, man. Continue to push the envelope. Continue to pound the table. You're absolutely ripping.
Hey, if I may, too, I believe that he actually took the system, right? And this is what we love at King Capitals. When he took the system, something he probably found out about from Alejandro, and then he put his own unique spin on it, right? He made it his own and is using it on individual names like Tesla. He's been just smashing Tesla day in and day out, right? So that's something we really encourage over at Kane. No trader is going to have the exact same strategy. You're not going to be able to have the same risk tolerance as everyone else. And Dozer comes in and just, takes something, nitpicks a few parts that he likes, and then makes it his own. And that's incredible. That's what trading is about. So kudos to you. We're looking forward to the next member spotlight to shout someone out that crushed it on Wednesday, guys. Good stuff.
All right, guys. So now to wrap up the show, we're going to go over today's top watches. We're going to go around and ask the head traders what it is that they are taking a look at headed into today. Coach, we're coming right back to you. What do you got on your radar?
Yeah, so we're going to pull up Apple here. This is the 20-day chart. So we're looking at the hourly right here. And look at this 148 level, guys. 148 on Apple. Just a beautiful, beautiful demand zone. It tried to dip down with the market, pre-market on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday last week. But immediately, look at that. Look at that volume that came in. Look at that big green candle right around 147, 148. Immediate reclaim, and then just a beautiful hold there on Apple. And if we can confirm over 150 today, I'm really loving calls and a push to 155 this week, right? Historically, the week of Thanksgiving is pretty bullish. So I'm looking at Apple, the leading name this year, right? Another reason why I don't think that we will have too bad of a spill into year end is because Apple. It's like I think of it like the fucking Night King from Game of Thrones, right? If you don't take out the general, if you don't take out Apple, the rest won't fall. It's just what we've seen this year. Apple has held the market up. So we're going to zoom in on the 5-day chart. Brian, I sent you another chart. We could just take a look here. Look closer at this 147, 148 demand zone on Apple. I mean, look how beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holds right there. And if we can just retest 150 today and hold on the daily, I'll be looking tomorrow to swing this for the end of the week for those 155s or 152.5 calls. I think we can get a nice push.
Okay, now Noah.
My top watch today is going to be Google. Google held this $96 level really nicely to end the week last week. They got a descending trend line coming down. I want to see them break over this resistance and possibly make a push to 100. They still have a large gap to fill from their earnings, which they're in right now. So I think if they can break over that $100 psych level, nothing's really stopping them to the 105 gap fill. So I'm going to keep an eye on Google this week, particularly if they can get over that $100 key level.
Money Mander.
Top watch for me is going to be NVIDIA. This is a 30-minute chart, I believe, but this had a dragonfly doji off that 618 there at the very top on the daily time frame, now forming into a rounding top here with like a 10-point gap fill below. And so this is a pretty common trend. You see this rally off of earnings into exit liquidity, sell back off again. So I'm watching NVIDIA here to get down to at least the start of that gap fill. If it fills, then we got a banger.
Mo.
All right, my top watch is AMD. 7225 is my put trigger down to the candle open all the way on the left right there. And then the 7475 is my call trigger. Break hook, looking to play a break hook and go. I don't want to play the breakout. Even if we close above the level, I want some support confirmation or resistance confirmation on the downside to play into the gap levels, both above for a gap fill and then to the downside to the open, the gap level.
You know, the one thing about a choppy week like we had last week is it gives us really good ranges. Like looking at that AMD chart, it's pretty clear what needs to happen for a breakout on either side. So that's something to watch for going into this week, guys. Just because you have a slow week, choppy week in the market, take a look at the charts, zoom out. And there's definitely going to be some opportunity this week by the looks of it. Okay, Ramsey.
Yeah, much like Money Mander, my top watch today is NVIDIA, and really more so this week. So this is the 4-hour. Last week I was watching the retest of this pretty massive daily gap fill level on NVIDIA, which did fill earlier this month, about a week and a half ago, 150.94. We came about 30 cents within the retest on the underlying and held into the end of the week on Friday. It's coming down a little in the pre-market. I'm not completely sold on this break hook and go formation just yet. But with that being said, 150.94 is my pivot for long versus short. I'm going to stay pretty unbiased until we get a clear confirmation in either direction. 150.94 break hook and go, or fail at that level, looking for some more downside on NVIDIA.
All right, and last but not least, Snipes.
What's up, guys? I got 4 levels for you guys today. The first level that I'm looking at is 396.08. I'm looking at this as an overall resistance. Then I got 395.27, 394.64, 393.65. My top watch today is that 395.27 level. I'm going to be looking for a rejection off of that level, hopefully to get some continuation to the downside.
All right, awesome. That's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Beat the Bell. Reminder that the 7 of us are trading live all day long, every day in the King Capital Discord. Come join us. Again, thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in. Let's have an awesome week, guys. We'll see you back here on Wednesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern.